So, class, how was it? Well, I've got a lot to say on this one. This should be an interesting video. Hello there people of the internet, and welcome back to another Nerd Central video. In today's video I am going to be starting my reviews on the Doctor Who spin-off Class, which, let's just say, people have been a bit mixed on in the reception. Like, you have some people like Tom Dix from Epic who are really looking forward to it, and then you have some other people who were a bit miffed with the announcement because they thought it was going to be like the return of Torchwood or some missing episode getting like unveiled. But no, when it come to me, I was rather... At first I was a bit like, don't really care, but as like the trailer and the marketing come out, I got sort of excited for it, and I just sort of wondered, could it be interesting, just like this group of students in Coal Hill. And well, the first 3 episodes have aired now. This is the Saturday that the third has aired, and today I'm going to be talking about the first. I'll record a separate video for the second and then one for the third. But yeah, I'll tell you my thoughts on the first episode of Class. For Tonight We Might Die now. So, For Tonight We Might Die has quite a big job behind it, doesn't it? Sort of introducing us to the sort of gang, as we call it. The sort of 4 main students as well as Miss Quill. Because you have Charlie, you have April, you have Tanya, and you have... what's his name? Ram, yeah, the one with the unforgettable name, all played by some brilliant actresses. You have actors and actresses. The 2 lads are actresses. Obviously, well, I hope not, because, oh yeah, that's going to be a bit worrying. But anyway, you have the brilliant Sophie Hopkins, I think her name is, playing April. She's fantastic. You have Greg Oskin. You have Greg Austin. I couldn't say that. That's why that might be a little jump cut. Words and shit. You have Greg Oskin. Oh, for fuck. You have Greg Oskin. You have Greg basically playing what's his name, Charlie. You have Fadi Asaid. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, mate. It's just, well, you know, as you can see from that little me trying to struggle with saying Greg's name, I'm not that good with my words sometimes. But yeah, you have him playing a Ram, and you have what's her name? Oh yeah, you have Vivian playing Tanya, as well as the wonderful Catherine Kelly from what's it called, Mr. Selfridge and Coronation Street fame, playing Miss Quill. So yeah, quite a good cast in this series, I would say. Like, for the main leads, I'd say they're all very good, and as the series goes on, they all get developed, and for loads of them, I've heard it's like the first professional acting job for quite a few of the younger cast. They do really well, and I'll get into that later. But yeah, For Tonight We Might Die had the job of introducing this new Doctor Who spin-off to a load of, let's be honest, very pessimistic fans, like, who are all like, I don't think it's going to be that good. But I think that for an episode that had such a good job on its hands, such a big job on its hands, it did rather well, even though at some points there were some things that I thought could have been better, but I think it did a really good job. I'll get into what I like now. Well, what I liked is the cast, of course. Like, that's one of the first things I mentioned, of course. All of the characters, I just fell in love with them instantly. You have Ram, who starts off as this, let's be honest, he's a bit of a prick. No offence to the actor, but then as it goes on, he sort of sees the death of, spoiler alert, his girlfriend. And then that sort of sets him on this arc of, you know, like, trauma. Like, he's a bit traumatised by obviously seeing his girlfriend get stabbed through the stomach by a Shadow King and then disappear in front of him, and obviously having his leg chopped off, because I think that'd leave you in a bit of a state. But yeah, I thought the guy who played him's acting was really, really good then. I thought it really showed throughout this episode, and it's more throughout the second episode, like his grief at, you know, losing his girlfriend. And I just thought, I liked Ram's character. He's sort of one of them lovable sort of, it's a bit of an arse, but he's a lovable one, if that makes any sense. April's character, oh, she's just so sweet. I mean, she's like sort of girl who's a bit of an, she doesn't really fit in. Like, everybody seems to almost think she's a bit of a nerd, and, you know, like, ignore her when she's wanting help to obviously, you know, set up the school plan. and that's something that a lot of people can relate to. Like, for example, because I was always like, you know, the one that was a bit outside, a bit of the weird one. Yeah, she's like, she doesn't seem to have many friends, which is something you can relate to, and Sophie plays that really well. Then you have Charlie, who's an alien, and it's just totally alien to all of our human concepts, and it's just really interesting to watch. And I really do like that, and Greg plays him fantastic. I got the name right this time. And you have, what's her name, Tanya, who I think she still gets some stuff in this episode, like she helps Ram out of his homework and that, but I think she comes more into a character in like the second and third episodes. But we sort of learn here she has sort of like a strict parent, a strict mother, and that gets expanded on in the later episodes. But yeah, I thought Vivian still played it well. And of course you have Miss Quill, who I think all of the fans fell in love with. She's just so out of touch with everything. She's a bit like Capaldi's Doctor in that she's like just so alien to all of our concepts, but she's such a badass at the same time. Like, what's it called, kicking the Shadow King's ass, you know, like in the flashbacks, and like killing students with that gun when, you know, like Shadow King attacking the school. And I just thought Catherine Kelly played that really well. She's such a badass, and I really did like the cast as in this story in Class. It's really good. As for the story, I thought it was good. I mean, it like, I'd say the first 20 maybe 30 minutes, I don't know what the time was, but yeah, let's say 20 minutes, it was sort of introducing us to the characters, and like especially what happened to like Charlie and Miss Quill. And I sort of like that because it sort of took its time to introduce us, whereas there's been little hints of like the shadows, you know, for example, it chased Tanya down that street and it grabbed, April's arm. And I just loved it how we got little like hints of what the film was. And then when they appeared, it was really cool because I like the design of them, even though they are a bit similar to the Pyrovale, I think they're called, you know, like from the one with David Tennant in the Roman times. They are a bit similar to that, but I sort of liked them. They sort of had a Japanese sort of influence to them, you know, like samurai thing, I thought. So I really did like them, and I thought they were quite threatening, you know, like, because when like they killed Ram's girlfriend, I thought that was really good. But anyway, the first 20 minutes, I wouldn't say it was slow, it was just building character, but then when we learn what happened to Charlie and Miss Quill, they basically come from a planet that I said just looked like a massive school, but they come from a planet, all of their race was killed and they were rescued by the Doctor, which was actually a really beautiful moment. I thought it sort of like set up this little backstory that they could potentially go into in further episodes with, like, you know, them being the last of the species, which I enjoyed. So after that, I thought it all kicked in. Like, you got the prom night, you had Ram's girlfriend getting killed, you had his leg getting chopped off, you had all these different things in the second half of the plot, and I just thought, I don't know, I wouldn't say it was, I'd say the second half of the plot, it did a lot more than the first half, but I sort of like the first half because it sort of set up, like, you know, the characters, so we could care a bit more about them in the second half. So yeah, I sort of did like a lot of the actual story of this one, and I thought it introduced us to the history with the Shadow King, and then possibly returning at a later date as a really good sort of speed, and I thought it was really good. Speaking about the Shadow King, I thought they were actually an excellent monster. They're a bit like the Vashta Narada mixed with the Pyrovale, mixed with a little bit of a samurai, because like they have swords and they can exist in shadows, but I just really did like that concept, like it can come out of a shadow at any moment and stab you. I really did like them, and I thought the whole thing about April sharing her heart with the Shadow King's sort of like king or leader was actually really cool. I really did like that. I mean, because it sort of sets up this whole thing for later for another episodes, like where she's sharing a heart with an alien. And I really did like that, and you know, the whole thing about it could come through the tear in Hope Coal Hill at any time. I really did like that, and I really thought it sort of set up more stuff for the future, and yeah, that's something I like about Class. One thing that I sort of like and dislike, I'm a bit mixed on, is the Doctor's appearance in it, because I like the fact that it was there and it was good seeing him after a while. I thought it was written the best here that he has been in a long time, probably since Heaven Sent. You know, it just felt more like the actual Doctor. I don't know, I just liked how Patrick Ness wrote 12, but I sort of thought that even though, the students from Coal Hill did, you know, save the day in the end, like they pushed the lights, and the Doctor just gave him a little boost. I did think it were a bit convenient that it just arrives, and it would have been cool if, like some of the other episodes, they'd have just solved it on their own. But I sort of think you needed the Doctor there in order to tie the two universes together. So yeah, I'm a bit mixed on that, but overall I did sort of like Capaldi's appearance in it. I also like some of the more adult tones it touches on this series, and I'll talk about that in future episodes because it gets more explored there. But like, you see someone get stabbed, blood splurts everywhere, you see like the leg get chopped off, and I don't think it was overdone. I mean, it might have been a little bit in the second episode, I don't really think so, but I sort of thought the gore was necessary, and it helped to sort of expand the tension and dread of the scenes. That when you saw the Shadow King, you thought, oh, these things are brutal, and I really did like that. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the good and bad of the episode. Oh, just one more thing, I thought the title sequence was great. I mean, not a lot, some people are that pleased with the whole flashing lights, like bright colours thing, but I thought it sort of really fit the sort of style of the show, you know, being young and youthful. And I actually love the song that goes along with it. I forgot what it is. I think it's Alex Cross and Up All Night, I think it is, or something like that. But anyway, yeah, I thought it was fresh to have a song with actual words, and I sort of really did like the title sequence. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Class. Overall, I thought that the first episode of Class for Tonight We Might Die was a good episode, a really good introduction to the sort of whole Class universe as sorts, and it sort of got me invested in it. I definitely rushed straight onto episode 2 after this, and I thought it were good. It took time to set up the characters at the beginning, which some people might say is slow, but I sort of say it's character building. Then it had a load of action and threat and story building on the second half of it, which I got really invested in, like the whole Shadow King, April sharing a heart, Ram's girlfriend getting killed, all that. I really did like that. And yeah, I just thought that Patrick Ness did a really good job at introducing us to the world of Class, and it made me at least want to go into episode 2 straight away. And trust me when I talk about episode 2, that's going to be bloody hard. Did you see what I did there? Because there's a lot of blood in that one, and that's lovely. That sounds real sadistic, but it's just really good. But anyway, my thoughts on that for another time. Anyway, I will give Class for Tonight We Might Die I give it an 8 out of 10. A great introduction, but I think the more coming to their own, it becomes its own show in next episodes, like the next few episodes. But it's still good anyway. A brilliant introduction by Patrick Ness, I would say. And the cast were great, and just everyone about it. I just love it. I can't wait to review the rest of these episodes to get my thoughts out, because I really am enjoying this series. But yeah, I'll save the rest of that for another day. So thank you for watching, people of the internet. I hope you agreed. If you didn't, comment down below what you didn't like, comment what you did like, and let me know what you thought of episode 1 for Tonight We Might Die. Click the subscription button if you want to be kept up to date with what I'm doing or what I'm talking about. I'll be reviewing all episodes of Class, and I'm probably going to be doing a few horror themed videos because it is coming up to Halloween on in the world, so I might be doing a few Halloween videos on Nerd Central, who knows. Anyway, check links in the description for links to the Facebook and Twitter to keep up to date with me and the channel. Me and James do a lot of videos, and if you didn't, and if you like sort of horror stuff, check out our American Horror Story discussion we just did. I thought it was a really good video, and you might like that if you like horror or American Horror Story. So yeah, this has been Michael from Nerd Central. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time with another video. Goodbye, my dears, and thanks for watching. See ya.